You see them at the restaurant.
You just see them at
They're
like
both on
on
their
their phones,
phones.
not talking.
Yeah.
You talk to them, and they're both in completely different worlds.
You're both sitting there probably silently resenting the other person for not giving you something that you need that you're not saying that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And so how much of our disappointment in marriage comes from unmet expectations that we
Mm.
haven't even told the other person we need right
Gonna
now.
click now. He wants to fix it. The wife wants to fix it. What's like that great starter kit question?
I think the first question you would ask is,
Do you feel like something's just off right now in your marriage? You're maybe not arguing all the time. Maybe you're still just living together, going through the motions. Some might call it a rut. Maybe you're just in a really deep, weird rut and you're not really sure how to get out of it. Well, in today's conversation, we're going to talk about how to get out of the rut and get back to you and your spouse loving each other. I'm Ben, and I'm with my beautiful wife, Kristen. And decade ago, we grew a construction company for up to 6 figures. And we had one job that went completely south. And because we didn't protect our marriage, we lost our business and almost lost our marriage. Well, fast forward to thousands of dollars we spent into our marriage, investing into it. Now we're back stronger than ever. And we have grown a new construction company over 7 figures.
I would say in all of our years together, that has probably happened to us on more than one occasion. And it can sometimes seem like it's devastating or, oh no, does this mean we're headed for disaster? But it doesn't have to be like that as long as you catch it and do something about it. So, what would you say are signs that you might be in a rut?
That's a good
What
question.
does it look like? What does it
What does
feel
it
like?
could look like different things for people, right? Like personality wise, but I think moodiness on both ends and just like weird attitude.
Like irritability?
Yeah,
They get
like
on your nerves?
just like and it's not like the time of the month or you know what I mean? Like you're because I feel like guys can easily just chalk that up. Oh, she's just, it's that time, whatever. Which sometimes it is,
Sometimes it is that time of the month.
but it's also on the guy too.
Yeah.
Um,
That's an
and that,
easy cop out.
I think it's a really easy cop out that
Yes.
most guys just put it all on the woman and
Take
blame her
no
for everything. And
responsibility.
I think a lot of us men need to step up and take responsibility. And this was a thing that I had to actually learn because it wasn't modeled for me from my dad and whatever. It was always kind of the woman's fault, the wife's fault. Um and in doing that, you're only further dividing. So and then you're creating that rut, as we said, in a deeper rut, and it's really hard to get out if nobody takes responsibility or
Mhm.
nobody also identifies it. So how do we identify it? What is the thing? And we want to say just because you're in a rut does not mean you're heading for divorce,
Mhm.
like at all. Like
Yeah.
there is hope. And maybe you're just stuck right now. You feel like icky, feels weird. You're just kind of wake up in the morning and then you go through the day, then you go to bed at night. It's just weird. Maybe you're not even arguing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing too. Sometimes like you're not even arguing. Maybe you're just not even talking to each
You're
other.
just not connecting. It's
Yeah.
like two ships passing in the night. You're handling the calendar. You deal with the kids. You do this, take them here,
Yeah.
go to that, run these errands.
Yeah.
Like you're more roommates. I think it's when it becomes that. You're more of a roommate situation, handling life together, but the romance is missing.
Right.
And you're just sort of like breezing past each other
Yeah.
rather than stopping and intentionally connecting.
And the romance is what needs to be lit like
Yeah.
constantly. We need to like have that fire just burning all night, baby. Okay, maybe we didn't get all carried away. But like the romance is what keeps you loving each other for 50 plus years. Keeps you loving each other through the hard times, through like ups and downs in business, the ups and downs of raising kids. It's important, and that's what kind of keeps you like bonded together.
Yeah.
And that little rut that you're creating is keeping that romance from happening. And when I like, I think when I say like romance too, like, I think a lot of people just go to like the sexual side of things. And it's not so much just like the sexual intimacy, because just intimacy in connecting like husband and wife, talking like really like
Conversations.
just like deep connection, like that intimacy is far more important than the sexual intimacy. Now, sexual intimacy is obviously
Also important.
very important too
Mhm.
and can fix some issues,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But having the deep connection intimacy, see, that took me, I think, a very long time to like value that and see that. And once we got that connection, like finally, I think it was like years after even being married, we finally got that connection of intimacy where we were just like this deeper level into like where do we are today. That like that's where my love for you grows so much daily because of that connection that we have. And when we have that deep connection, now when we get in a weird little rut, because sometimes life still happens
Yeah.
and you still have to correct things and you still have to like navigate, right? But because of that, now I've experienced that deep intimacy and that connection way. I want that rut gone like quick. I don't
Yeah.
want to stay there. I don't want to, it doesn't, because then I now I know how to identify it and I know that we need this fixed right away.
Yeah. I think it's so easy to get in one when you're busy, especially with business, school, all the things you can get caught up with in the calendar. And sometimes there's seasons where you are just really busy and you have a lot to navigate. And so it's not that you've forgotten about them or are neglecting them intentionally at all. I think it's just when you don't have certain systems in place, it's easy to let the calendar kind of run you over
Mm,
or to let business needs run you over and those kinds of things. And so, but if you have those systems in place, that's why like it is so easy to get out of it. It just takes a little bit of intentionality. Like, hey, let's stop and connect. Let's have like one of the like you're talking about the communication. It just takes someone, first of all, acknowledging it,
right.
bring it up. Hey, do you have a few minutes after dinner? Or, like find that moment where they're relaxed, they're not in the middle of on the go and like, hey, do you feel like something's been off? Like just call it for what it is
Hmm.
and call it out and acknowledge it. And then they're probably feeling the same thing. And it's just usually like there's something going on in their life or they're in their world, whether it's work or with the kids or finances or whatever they're dealing with. They're dealing with something and they might be in their head about something. And so it just takes like, hey, can we sit and have a conversation and then open up to each other about what's going on? And so I think when you talk about that open communication, the intimacy comes from sharing your heart with each other.
Right.
And so this is something I'm going through right now. Yeah, let me tell you about it. Or this is why I've been distant lately. Or I just feel really overwhelmed. Or I feel like I'm letting someone down in this area. Or, just those kinds of things. I think you have
This,
to be vulnerable to share that.
yeah, sorry for cutting you.
It's okay. I forgive you.
I gotta like excited.
Say it.
So like, but this part right here is like the worst nightmare for guys.
Yeah. It used to be
It
for you.
used to be for
You're
me.
such
So
a
I
chatty
was
man
in
now.
your boat.
He gets it.
But this, like, you as a man have to break through this connection side. Like, you
Mhm.
want the other side of her, the sexy time side,
Yeah.
but you won't communicate with her. When she wants you to communicate with her, like, it starts with you, bro. Like, it starts with you communicating with her and connecting with her heart to heart versus doing anything else. And learning this was, you can say, I can say, my greatest unlock in our relationship building, like going to the next level. And of, because if I get in my rut and not want to talk about things because, you put the man hat on and now we don't want to talk about things,
Yeah.
that just creates that further divide in between me and you.
Mhm.
And I think now, like if we get in one, it's like me being ornery and like not wanting to get out of it.
Stubborn.
The stubborn man.
Yeah.
And I think recently we had one, a little weird rut for whatever weird
We're just
reason.
like, "What's going on? We know better," you
Yeah,
know?
and then I was just like but I was, like, being it was, like, me, like,
I
extending
think
it.
we both knew it though. Well, I
New.
was calling out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
was,
that
like,
was you.
further extending it, like, just
Yeah.
because, like, I was just being ornery. And so if you're the
Mhm.
ornery one in the relationship,
Knock it off,
well, for
you
sometimes you're
know?
just, like, ornery, not to just, like I was kinda being ornery just to be ornery, but, like, sometimes, like, you're ornery because, like, that's who you are, and you might just need the heart change first. Maybe that spouse right now is saying amen, but, like, let's encourage one another, first of all,
Yeah.
if you do struggle with orneriness, and you are a little fit and you're a little bit feisty, that does not help your, intimacy connection.
Especially when you're both feisty
If you're both feisty,
and you can just go at it.
yeah,
It's not, yeah,
yeah, there's no, that is no that's no
not a good place to
not
be.
a good place to be.
You know what I was thinking though when you were talking about the men who shut down and like won't communicate is I remember thinking is how has a woman responded maybe when a man has tried to open up?
Mm,
And so some of those things can come from childhood, from relationship with his mom, or his sister, a friend,
right,
a past relationship. And so sometimes if you did try to open up once and you were met with someone made fun of you or belittled how you felt,
right,
or I think that's a really real thing for men too. It's like if you are vulnerable and you get shut down, then you close that off. And that's a really easy thing to do because it's like self-protection, right? Like defense mode. I'm not going to open myself up again like that because I don't want to get hurt or made fun of or belittled, you know? And
mhm,
so for the woman to be really cautious and aware of how you're responding.
yeah,
And I think that that's one of the reasons you do open up so freely now and it's taken years,
mhm,
but I think I had to gain your trust
mm,
in that. And not that I've always done that perfectly, but that's something that I've had to work on over the years
yeah,
of being a safe place for your emotions. Because you do have emotions, whether you share them or not. We like to act like men are like cold, hard, robotic, like
don't
it's the
cry,
woman that's emotional.
right,
Like men are actually super emotional.
mhm,
Men can be really sensitive. They've just been taught to shut it down
right,
and needing to show it in certain ways, I guess. But your wife should be a safe place. Your marriage should be the safest place on earth to share something that you're going through. And I think that's taken us years to build.
mhm,
But that's something I cherish. And you can lose that in a second.
right,
You know, if like you were to share something with me and I went and told someone and I like that's something I've had even like in conversations with girlfriends or different things, I've had thoughts of or moments of like I almost wanted to share in a situation to get help or advice or something. And I've had that check to like, no, I'm not. That's a sacred thing that you shared with me. And like I said, not that I've always done this perfectly, but I remember learning that like in those years when we were investing in our marriage and trying to build a strong foundation was like when you open up and share something with me that is precious and I cherish that. And so that's not something I just go share with my sister or my mom or go tell somebody what's going on. It's like it's a husband and wife. That's one of those husband and wife things and our conversations are a safe place.
yeah.
So that takes work. But
It
if
takes
that's
it
something
takes
that's
work.
been damaged in your relationship, you guys, I mean, that's another conversation to have, but maybe that takes the husband opening up again. And it takes, it takes the vulnerability, give him a chance,
Mhm.
but even voice that, hey, there's a reason I don't really talk anymore. It's because I did once and this girl said this about me, or, like however many years it could go
Or what
back.
if it's the wife that says something?
Well, yeah, that's what I
Like, in the
mean.
beginning,
So,
you know?
yeah. So share it and explain. And if she knew that, I think that's if she knew, it would break her heart, you know?
Hopefully.
It should break her heart.
I'm just joking.
Because I remember it broke mine in the beginning of any of those moments where I felt like, I don't know, maybe I can't even think of an example, but I feel like that probably happened in the beginning of me maybe sharing something that you shared in confidence and not knowing that it was or something. I don't know. Just, sometimes girls can be chatty. And so that's why it depends. I mean, it's really important who your circle is and
Mhm.
how you talk about your spouse in front of them. And
Right.
so I'm just like so guarded about that now because I want your heart to be safe with me and I want you to know that your heart is safe with me. And I think that creating that safe place
It's
is
the
a huge thing.
sweetest thing ever you've
Is that
said.
sweet? Oh,
Yes.
Well, it's really important to me.
Protector of my heart.
It's important to me.
Hey there, we hope you are enjoying this conversation. But hey, we had a quick question for you. Right now, currently, who is in your corner for your marriage? One thing we know about the top athletes, the top business owners, the top leaders is that they all can't do it without the support.
That's right. And when it comes to a couple in business, it's the same way. Imagine what it could be like, even if you're not in crisis. Maybe everything's going great. But imagine what it could be like to have a couple in your corner, encouraging you and making sure you guys stay aligned as you continue down your path together.
Or maybe you are in crisis mode and you have no idea where to even start. Well, we can help you with that too.
There is going to be a link in the description below. You can click that link and you can go ahead and book a discovery call with us. We would love to get to know you, hear your story, and see if we might be a good fit to help you on your path moving forward.
Let's get back into this conversation.
You
I
know?
want to say this: if you're a man listening to this and you say, "Oh man, I'm not emotional," we see you on a Saturday screaming your head off
With the face
with
paint.
your shirt off in the freezing cold, freaking out over a team that doesn't even know your name on a Sunday, getting all worked up on the golf course. I've seen grown men on a golf course get so
Throw clubs.
emotional out there, the ups and downs of the golf round.
Yeah.
So to say like you don't have emotion, that's just a cop out. That's trash, bro. Like 100. Like you have emotion. Like you're I think it's this weird thing that like I think society's like push down men to like
Yeah.
with when it comes to like your spouse or you're in your relationship. It's just this weird thing. Um
Or you've seen it when you grew up if your dad wasn't
yeah,
emotional or you were told, quit.
suck it up.
Boys don't cry, whatever you were told as a kid. It's probably, I mean, it's generational that gets passed on if someone doesn't intentionally
Yeah.
shift how we talk about that. So,
Right.
and society. I mean,
Mhm.
hello.
Yeah,
in this
but
year.
grown men will cry when their team doesn't win or
Or when they do
or when
win.
they do win.
The
Just
Super Bowl
tears.
tears.
All these tears.
Yeah.
But you can't cry with your wife because you got to be tough. Come on, bro. So that's we're not accepting that answer.
We're not. And if you're in a rut, it could be because you've shut yourself down
Yeah,
because you're going through something that you haven't talked to your spouse about.
yeah,
And if that's you, I mean, like if something's coming to mind, even as you're listening, share it and
yeah.
do it in a safe place. Safe. The kids are in bed. You're out. You're doing something just the two of you. Go do an activity. I've heard that's a good thing. It's like go for a walk together.
hmm
And when you're side by side, it's easier to open up and when you're like
Yeah.
doing something together rather than just sitting
That's
on the couch staring at each other.
another one to like shake out of your rut.
Yeah.
Like let's shake out of it.
Do different things.
So go somewhere new.
Yeah.
Do something different. Maybe it's a new restaurant on the other side of town. Axe throwing, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
do something like you've never done,
Hmm.
and then go do it, and then just like spice it. Just like kind of spices it up, changes it up.
Yeah.
It kind of puts your both of your guards down. You can like have fun with each other.
Even if you hate it, you can laugh about how much you hated it,
Yeah.
If you do like take a dance class or something or go do pottery, spin a little clay thing on the wheel.
Little
Those
pottery.
little activities. Just try it out. You can do it one time. And if you
Mhm.
hated it, do something different
There's
next
so many
time.
things to do.
Yeah.
And change it up. So
Mhm.
changing it up, getting out, because I think you could be like associate with like the living room, or I know we've talked about in other episodes, like keeping your bedroom like kind of like that sanctuary place and not having those discussions in there. But maybe it's happening in there and it's like it's starting in the kitchen and goes upstairs and now it's happening in the room and you just like, you can't seem to get out of it. Like go somewhere. And maybe that's the time too where you do go on like a 2-3 day trip.
Yeah.
Kids are with grandma and grandpa
That's been
or
huge for
whoever.
us. It's such
And
a reset to just remember that you're individual people. Like you're not just mom and dad, like if you have kids, you're not just mom and dad in mom and dad mode all the time. Cause even when we're doing something, our kids are older now, and so they can be doing something while we're in a different room or something, but
right.
you're still in mom and dad mode. But when they're with the grandparents or they're with somebody and you get away for a few days and just become husband and wife again, that it does something to you. It's
Mhm.
like that reset of, oh, wait, I see you. You see me. We love each other. This, like the romance, like hold hands. If you're not even, I think that's a big part of a sign of a rut too, is like, are you physically affectionate when you, I know there's
That's
some
good.
people that don't love PDA. I wasn't one either. But do you even
I
like,
love PDA and she does
yeah,
not.
he does. But do you hold hands when you're out shopping or when you go on that walk? Like hold hands or sit next to each other. You know, like that's one with us is we have our spots on the couch. Or if you have a favorite chair or something, and so you sit down and watch your show and you're like not next to each other. The greatest investment we ever got was the couch that has it's like a sectional, but it has a cuddler.
Mm,
I don't that's like an actual
yeah,
term, right?
that's what
So
it's called.
one end, instead of like that chaise lounge, it's like a just a big round, they call it a cuddler at the furniture store. And now we can both fit in there and the dog. But it's like be intentional about where you sit. Like don't get in your thing where like you're in on your side, I'm on my side, and we're not together. Like purpose to sit next to each other, share a blanket, hold hands, put your hand on his leg while you're out at dinner or in the car, like reach over and just grab a hand. You know, like those little physical affection, even like non sexual physical affection. First of all, women need that, that you're not only touching me because you want something, but
Mm.
like you're touching me because you actually love me. And it's just a sign of care and attention. And I see you. That's a big one too. So hold hands. Yeah. When you're out and about in
You've
public or
gotten
not
great
in
at this
public.
now.
I'm trying to get better.
Holding hands,
Yeah.
little hug.
Yeah. Well, it's hard when you have little kids and like you're holding a little kid's hand. So I
Right.
think that's part of it too. We kind of like had to stop because of our children's survival in public places. But now they're good. They can walk on their own 2 feet. So we can hold hands.
The what is the hardest question? Like what's like the hardest question that you've had to ask me to connect with? Like I think I'm trying to I know we've had some like obviously like really deep conversations. And like I'm trying to think of like one of the some of the first ones that we've had to like really connect on like a deeper level. Where would you give like what would you tell a couple like if they're just stuck and they don't really communicate and they're like in this weird little rut and maybe they've been in this rut for like a couple years or maybe I'm gonna get maybe we don't have to get so dramatic. Maybe it's like been like a few months. It's like what's like the conversation starter kit
Starter kit.
that could like shake it up. I mean, okay, I'll preface this
Okay.
with the husband and wife both are in agreement that we need to get this to work.
So how do we fix it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not like calling
Because
them out.
you're not calling them out. The husband's on board. I think it's a lot of times like what we see too is like the husband's not on board. So
Yeah.
then the wife's just trying to fix it. And then
She's
the
like
husband's just
desperate.
like cold, stone cold Steve Austin and just like not even, not even in it. So the husband's in it. He wants to fix it. The wife wants to fix it. What's like that great starter kit question?
I think the first question you would ask is like, what's heavy on your heart right now?
Hmm.
Or like, is there something, I mean, that sounds dramatic, but like, is there something keeping you up at night? Like, what is it that's on your mind? Is there something you're worried about or something that's just weighing heavily on you right now?
Yeah.
Because you might think you know, and you might actually have no idea.
Hmm.
Whether it's business or it's personal or it's family relation, with their parents, their relatives, um, a friendship or something like that, or even like age, like you just had a birthday,
Mm-hmm.
30. Do you want to say how old?
No.
You don't really? Oh, okay. Well, when people are like close to milestone birthdays, like
Yeah.
that can be a big thing. Or if you're getting close to empty nester, or if you're getting close to kids getting old enough to drive and they have a license, like just people process different things differently. And so there might be something, I think there's things I've asked you before that like I assumed it was work stress or I assumed it was money stress at some point, but it was like something completely different that I wouldn't have considered. And so, and thankfully, because we had built trust with each other,
Right.
you opened up and shared that with me. So I think that's a big one to start with is like, what are you dealing with right
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm not? Because then I think there have been times that I didn't know. And then once I knew, I looked back at some of our like recent conversations And I probably came across as cold or insensitive about a subject, not realizing what you were internally
Mm,
processing and dealing with. And
right.
I probably said something that was hurtful or just inconsiderate, and I had no idea. And so, because I didn't know what you were dealing with, and so those probably, I think that's
Yeah.
the question I would go to.
And I would say for the husband, it's like, how can I serve you in this season? Like sometimes like your wife, you the wife, like when it comes to the running the household, right? You have a lot going on. Or maybe you have a lot of friends that are dealing with certain things and it's like heavy. Um or maybe even like grief, like right? So like grief kind of comes in different seasons and different times. Maybe even like just thinking about like my dad and passing, like like different things like kind of like recently have like kind of popped up of like, oh wow, like, you know, miss them or can't call them now, like that. And it's been months, you know what I mean? So you're like, that's different. And sometimes we are always getting better at communicating. And this is something that I feel like is your greatest thing that you could do is work on communication,
Yeah.
like with with your spouse, because not even just like you and me, doing great, but like in your workplace, when you land jobs, when you're creating a new business, like if you can communicate, like it's a game changer. So if you're continuing to work on your communication, which then only affects your relationship with your spouse, so should be something that you desire, like, to get better at. And oftentimes we skip that step. And I think as a man, because I'll just speak to the men, because obviously the stereotype is that men don't talk and they're quiet and um, but I lead a table at our church for our men's Bible study. And what are you saying?
No, I love
Oh,
this.
okay.
I love when you talk about it because it's really cool.
And I have a interesting group of guys this season because we meet, every year and they call it seasons, right? So this season, my group is they're just it's different. Like they've all been through so much stuff,
Rough
rough
history.
like
Yeah.
history, which is awesome. Like, and then the fact that now they're in church, they're just trying to do it right because they've been
Mhm.
doing it wrong for so long. And I'm not perfect by any means. So I told him, like, I think it was our last meeting. I said, if we have a pretty big group of guys meeting at different tables, and I kind of like to look around right now. I said, compared to like all these other dudes, like our table alone, our list of wrong is probably going out the door and through the street and out the parking lot and down the
Ugh,
road. Like, like legitimately, if you added up all of the things that we've done wrong in
criminal
life,
history.
criminal
Yeah.
histories and all the stuff that you know what I mean? Just all the stuff.
Yeah.
Like, but the fact here that we are on a Tuesday night coming here to try to be a better man
Yeah.
for our family, because they're all married, and it's like the heart of all of them is that I just want to be a better man, husband, father. And it's like the
Awesome.
fact that we're even here together, and the fact that you even showed up to a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock and want to like get better as a man, like we're already on the right track. And like so like and then seeing them to like process and think about it, and just like, man, like how awesome it is to see men from all kinds of backgrounds like
Mhm.
coming together and be like, no, I want to be a better husband, I want to be a better father, I want to just be a better person. And that's the heart, that's what it starts with, right? For us men, it's like you have to come to the place where you're ready to make a change. Like,
Mhm.
you've seen the way your dad did it. Your dad probably did it all jacked up. And you see the way your brothers and your uncles and everybody around you, all the media, like nobody does it perfect, but that's like you have to make that choice in your heart that like I want to be a better father. Like there's nothing better, like I went today and took out our youngest son to go golfing, and like he just beamed the whole entire time.
He loved it.
Just just ear to ear smiling,
He got
having
to
a great
skip
time.
math,
Got to skip
homeschool
math today to
to go
go golfing.
golfing.
We had to do some PE. Sometimes you just need to get some
You
PE in you.
added up your score and stuff though, right? There
That's
was
right.
math,
There
I'm
was
sure.
math in there.
Calculating
All the
yards.
strokes and stuff and math and yeah,
Yeah.
yardage and distances, how far you drove it from the hole. Like it's the whole
We
thing.
can check it off the
Math is
box.
everything,
It
right?
is.
There's a math all over in golf. So it's great. But like I could have easily gone by myself or I could have called a buddy.
And you would have. You used
Or
to.
yeah, easy. It's
Yeah.
easy to do that. But like it just takes a little bit of intentionality as a man to set the atmosphere in the home. And when it comes to your relationship with your spouse, it just takes a little bit of intentionality to connect. And maybe it's so tough because maybe you've had some jacked up relationships. I've had jacked up relationships in my years and it's messed me up. And you, as my lovely wife, had to like go through the Amazon and chop down some.
I got the brunt of it.
You got the brunt of all of it, but now you have this sweet man,
The sweetest
the
man.
sweetest
I
man,
chiseled all the
just
hardness
all
off
the
of you.
hardness. You know, she's got that chisel is
I
just
think God did
sharp.
that actually.
God did a lot of work,
But
but like it. So long story short, is when you want the change, like the change is gonna happen, and the man has to set the tone. And sometimes when you say like, "Oh, my wife is this, my wife is that," but if you change and if you're different, like the house is gonna change. The household's gonna change because it's not like you bowing down and maybe your wife's more dominant or whatever. Because we do need men to like rise up. But like that's exactly what I'm saying.
mhm.
If you rise up as the man of the household, as the husband, as the leader, then your wife will. She will come into like not I don't want to say in line, but she will come into like okay, something different here.
Yeah. It's easier to submit and follow a man who's leading well, leading the family well. It's interesting because as you were telling that story about men's Bible study, I lead a table at our women's Bible study. And our last conversation was very, I knew of a situation happening at the table that was hard, you know, as you referenced, like when people we know are going through hard things. I
Right.
knew of one as I was kind of leading the discussion that night. But as we started talking about things, different ones started opening up, and everyone was dealing with really heavy things. And it's interesting, they're all wives, they're all mothers. And it was interesting to hear them voice what was, and you could hear it in their voice, like how heavy these, and they were all family situations.
Hmm.
It was all family members, whether it was a child or a relative. And to hear how much women specifically carry the weight of family situations like that, no matter, you know, what the situation is. I just kind of wonder, like, do their husbands know how
Mm,
much this is weighing on them? And some of them I think do,
right.
and that's cool. And we've seen that, which I think is really cool when the husband is being as supportive as he can be when the wife is going through something hard. Um, but they wouldn't know if they don't talk about it, you
Right.
know? And so we didn't really get into that side of it. It was about, you know, how do we trust God? What's the promise of God through this circumstance and this situation? And so just in like this sisterhood of strength, like that was really powerful. But how much more so, like this was just once, you know, we meet twice a month.
Hmm.
But like I'm hoping that they're engaging, like that they're opening up in conversation with their husbands about it too. Because when you two can come together and walk through those things together, and you know you're not alone. I think that's a lot of it is how many husbands and wives feel like they're facing a battle alone. And so when we can support each other and say, this isn't just your fight, this is our fight, and pray together, pray for each other, pray about the situation together, how much power you guys have together. And just to mostly feel like I'm not alone in this. We're on the same page. He knows what I'm going through. He knows what I'm carrying, and like he's here for me, you know? And then when you voice those things, how much you can step up then and say, how can I serve you? I understand you're dealing with this now. Like, do you want me to pick up the kids tomorrow? Do you want me to take them out to go do something so you can have some alone time? Do you want to go make that hospital visit and I'll take care of this thing? Um, all of those things, but it takes open communication. Otherwise, you're both sitting there probably silently resenting the other person for not giving you something that you need that you're not saying that you need.
Mhm.
And so how much of our disappointment in marriage comes from unmet expectations that we
Mm.
haven't even told the other person we need right
Starting to cook
now.
now.
And sometimes that comes from pride because we don't want to ask for help and we don't want to admit that we need help
Yeah.
because we look at it as weakness. And I think that's a beautiful thing about marriage is that we're there for each other to be strong for each other when the other one is weak. And that doesn't mean you're less of a person or you can't handle this or you're not strong enough or tough enough. And maybe been told that as a child,
Right.
toughen up, man up, woman up, just figure it out, get through it. That's what we do. But I think there's a lot of power and intimacy that comes when you share in your weaknesses with one another so that you can stand up and be strong for each other.
Right.
And we've experienced that, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, and it just goes both ways and just like keep coming back to that. Like it goes both ways. Like for you as a man, you as if you're standoffish and all the stuff, like it goes both ways. Like and your wife is only going to open up to you as much as you open up to her.
Yeah.
Eventually she's going to shut that down, right? So getting out of that, the moment you can get out of the talk about it, get out of that rut. Like it's this beautiful meadow you're walking through like hand in hand together, like walking around because staying in that rut, like it just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Where it's like I just like see like a canal almost like forming, right? And that the canal's getting deeper, and you're sinking down, and it's a lot harder to get out of it. Um, and it's because you're just ignoring it, and then you're not taking it head on and like and talking about it, and hopefully like and you see the couples and you just see it on them, and it's just like you want to like
You see them at the restaurant.
you just see them at
They're
the like
both on
on
their
their phones
phones.
not talking.
Yeah.
You talk to them and they're both in completely different worlds. It's like we're talking to the couple at the same time, but yet she's definitely going this way and he's definitely going that way, and they're not in unison. They're
Yeah.
not on the same team. They're not on the same page, but they're living together, paying the bills together, and
Yeah.
it's just like, man, like it so it takes intentionality in communicating and connecting and however you need to do it. And I think that's the biggest the biggest thing that the enemy tries to do is to create that division, create that rut, just enough to keep you guys divided, just
Yeah.
enough to keep you guys not connected. Because I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to continue to say it again. But a couple united together, there is nothing more powerful. There's nothing more unstoppable than a
Yeah.
couple that is united together with the purpose and knowing their purpose that they have for this world, this life together, doing life well together. There's nothing more powerful. There's nothing more I want to say indestructible
Yeah.
than a couple that is united together going after this life with a purpose and knowing what their purpose is. I mean, I'm gonna bring out the Bible.
Bring it out.
I mean, started in Genesis. It started in
It
Genesis,
started in
literally started
Genesis,
in
literally
Genesis.
the beginning.
Just literally divided the first couple in the world. Divided them. Got them off track,
And how did he do it? He did it with their thoughts.
right?
So tempting Eve, did God really say? And then it became a battle in her mind. And so how much of it is we also just like make up a narrative in our mind when we don't talk. So the more we don't communicate, then it's, oh yeah, he's been really cold to me lately. He must be mad at me. He must not love me anymore. He must not find me attractive anymore. He must not. And we make up this story in our minds. And really, it's like you could not be further from the truth. You just
Right.
haven't asked him what's going
And
on.
the further you go there with those thoughts, the longer you let them go, the bigger that idea comes into your head.
Yeah. The
And
more
then it comes into your
destructive.
head that goes down to your heart. And then once it goes into your heart, it's like there's not a rut anymore. You've created like a fence, a brick
A
wall,
divide.
a huge
Yeah.
divide between the two of you. And so getting in a rut is is normal. I mean, it happens. Not normal. I mean, maybe it's normal. Normal?
I think common.
Common.
Maybe not normal, but common.
Common.
But
Things.
just catch it when it's small.
Yeah.
Don't let it go on too long because it's not an end all
Yeah.
situation if you catch it.
A tiny little thing or a little weird, like, oh, that was like you acted weird today or a couple days.
You snapped at me.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then it's like, that's different. And then you just like, but when you are intentional, you catch it that you did
Mm.
it and you're like, I'm sorry. That was jacked up.
Yeah. Quick apologies
Yeah.
are like a superpower.
Right.
Yeah. But sorry can be such a hard word for people to say, which is silly. Just say, I'm sorry. You're right. Which you're really good at apologizing.
Now I am.
Now you are.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm a
trying to get
grand
better.
apologizer.
You're a great apologizer.
Apologizer.
Yeah.
So final thoughts
Hmm.
on so we you have identified a rut and it's okay. You're in a rut, no big deal. You can get out of it. I think that's first of all, we want to encourage you that like if a rut doesn't mean the end all doomsday, this he's leaving me, she's leaving me. Nah, it doesn't mean that. You just need to fix it.
Yeah.
Communication. Now it's going to take both of you to get out of the rut. And so one of you gonna have to apologize. One of you is gonna have to say, like, I don't know, something's just off. Like, and communicate. Like,
Yeah.
get deep in a deeper level. The more that you can communicate often, like the quicker you get out of the rut. So now what's the final path that we want to take him on?
Well, I guess I would speak to the couple who doesn't feel like they can do that on their own. If you maybe you're on the same page and you get it, but you don't know how to communicate, or maybe your conversation always ends up with someone blowing up or belittling the other person and you just don't have healthy communication tools. I think at that point, you should reach out for help from
Mm,
somebody. And so, whether that's a pastor, a therapist, a counselor, someone in like your local church, if you have a mentor, if there's a couple that you're friends with that you look up to, go out to dinner with, ask for a double date, and just say, hey, how do you guys work through something like this? And just opening up to another couple. Because sometimes you need an outside voice to speak
mm-hmm.
into it. And back to that narrative that we can make something so big in our head. And it's like, all it takes is someone else to be like, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Just do this. Or how about you just do this and move on? Like sometimes we make things so disastrous and monumental in our heads. And we just need someone else to say, hey, have you guys tried this? Or hey, get away for a few days. Or, go to a conference, go to an event,
Mm-hmm.
go do something with somebody to shake out of it. And you just need someone to kind
Yeah.
of speak into your life.
Our problem or that feeling can feel so big.
Yeah.
And we make it that way. We really put some fuel on that fire.
Yeah.
Fuel on the fire. Um, just kind of like I did, like that one was a few months ago now, right, or whatever. Like just like I felt like I was putting fuel on the fire just because like I was being honoring.
Yeah, you were.
I was being that way, but like
You admitted it. I can say that. I can
I did. Hey,
agree.
hey, I did.
I
I
just
got it.
agree.
Hey, I got it.
I'm in
Hey,
agreement.
I got it. So create time to connect. Create a rhythm that you guys can connect. Create opportunities to get away.
Hmm.
I think as you're growing businesses or your business and um you got the dreams, you got the goals, you got those big aspirations of like, man, we're gonna do X amount this quarter or whatever. Like those ruts can feel like it can you can maybe not identify that rut as quick because you're so focused on um
You're
your
distracted
goals, like
or
your
yeah.
distractions, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like when you go to like go out to dinner and it's like cold. It's like, well, that was different. Instead of ignoring that, it's no, wait, what's going on?
Yeah. Call it out
Yeah,
fast.
like bring it back to because sometimes we can't like and me, like I'm all out. Like I'm growing and we're doing things we
all
got
over the place.
we got so much going on.
Got to keep
And
up.
so sometimes it is like I'm just like my head's just like this business, that business, we're doing this, we're gonna start this business, and then like the next thing you know, we go out to dinner, go to get sushi or whatever, and we're not connecting, like you're not on the same page, like, and then it takes me and my effort to like literally pull that emergency brake up and be like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I mean, you've been cold, or then we connect, and it's like, oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. Like I've been so like fire hosing down this path and trailblazing this path that like I did completely forgot. Not forgot, but just kind of like slip,
Yeah.
just slipping.
Well, I think phones can be a big danger too, because especially when you're in go mode, it can be easy to like, one of our rules is like no phones at the dinner table, no phones on date night. And then sometimes it's like that's the only place we implement that. But then like, what about when we're home and we're all just hanging out? Like, are we
Right.
all just sitting there on our phones
Right.
instead of like connecting and talking and making eye contact and having a
Yeah.
conversation? And so I would just like those kinds of things are just like a little check. Like if you're fine sitting in it, and there's something like it's comfortable to be with your spouse. So like we're just at home hanging out. It's okay to be on your phone. Like
Right.
I don't mean like you can't ever.
Lock the phone up.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, is it a little excessive? Like you doom scrolled for 30 minutes already. Like maybe you can put it away now and you guys
Hmm.
can have a conversation. So go do a puzzle or play a card game or something,
Right.
whatever it could be. Make a meal together.
Yeah. Bro,
Together. You see
this
that?
girl, this girl.
One of these days you'll cook
we'll
with me.
just go out to dinner.
I know. Sushi sounds great,
It
actually, now that
does,
you
yeah.
mentioned it.
Yeah,
So
we get a little
I know what we're
sushi.
doing after this.
Hey yo. All right. I think we just basically solved all of your guys' problems for this episode, right?
If that didn't do it, leave us a comment.
Leave us a comment.
Send us
See,
a DM on Instagram. We want to hear. What are you finding helpful in these conversations? We would love to hear. And it kind of helps give us like more ideas of what to speak to also, because we are real people and we've been where you've been, and whatever you're dealing with, we probably dealt with it too.
Yeah.
So we're all
Or
here
worse.
together. It just takes someone to open up and share these common things that people go through to open up the conversation and talk about it. So
That's right. Hey, we hope you enjoyed this conversation, and we hope it encouraged you, knowing that if you're in a rut, it is so easy to get out of it. Just communicate, maybe go on some crazy date night that you haven't done before, connect with your spouse, get back to purpose, walking together with your spouse.